Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Mike. Shalom. My name is Michael. I'm the senior pastor and teacher for the Body of Christ ministry, his ministry, where we glorify our Father and make him laugh every single day. Remember, I don't do parts anymore. No, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, so on. Everything is beginning, the intro to. It is the continuation. It is the completion or conclusion, right? And now we have the epilogue to expo. The what? You thought the conclusion was the end, right? No, we got the expo. And I did that for a reason. To see if people were paying attention. And they were. My sister Gail, my sister Linda, Gail, Linda, Nancy, and no pun intended, Robert. And the reason is because I always tell people, my name is Michael, call me Mike, but if I'm in trouble, my name's Bob. So that's what that's referred to. Anyway, we left out a big part of the last days and the exponential curve, and that is the office of the papacy, the Pope. One thing you need to realize and understand and know is that it's not the person, it's the office, okay? The Pope merely is, they change. The office does not. It's like the President of the United States, the office of the President of the United States. People come and go, but the office is still the same. When we elected our president, Trump or Hillary, at first I was like, hey, I don't want Hillary at all. I'm going to vote for Trump. And he got elected. And now it's like, oh man, I'm so glad Trump got it, man. I voted for Trump because, man, what a character he is, right? He's just turning everybody upside down. And but anyway, the office of the president, just like the Pope, it's called the papacy in the papal bull, right? That's what he writes, papal bulls to rewrite. Anyway, remember in 1973, President Nixon, all right? Not a godly man, and neither is Trump. My God, Trump is so far off from God, it's pathetic, right? And people say, oh, he's so godly because he's going to bring the Bible back in the school. If you know the Bible, you know that Trump is nowhere near a godly man, okay? He does things, but he's not godly. Just like Richard Nixon, right? Richard M. Nixon. Do you remember in 1973 when Golda Meir in Israel called the office of the President of the United States of America and said, man, we're being invaded. We got Egypt. We got Iran. We're outnumbered 8-1 just in the tanks, right? Well, she was calling Richard Nixon because he was in office, okay? But one man can't do everything, okay? It takes the office of. So she said, help, help, help. Richard Nixon would go, well, let's see. If Israel loses, it's not going to be very good. So he got with Congress and Senate and everybody, and they came together and they were saying, along with Henry Kissinger, I don't like it. God says, don't hate. Well, whatever it is, just under hate. That's where I'm at with that, man. Anyway, they were saying, we can't get involved because the world powers get involved in that. And Nixon's going, what? A world power is involved. Russia's backing Iran and Egypt. And they go, oh yeah, let's do it. The largest MAC, which is Military Airlift Command, was sent to Israel. Man, we loaded up. Boom. Huge planes, man. They were taking off, flying, landing, dropping off, and making a U-turn and come back and doing the same thing. Largest military airlift in history at that point. And for one little tiny lesion the size of my fingernail. Okay, anyway, what happened? Well, Israel won. God played a big hand in that. He knew that if she called on the United States of America, the office of the president, that office would step up. And they did. And so did God when it came to the Air Force of the Egyptian fighters That whole story is just incredible. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Pope. Big player, the office of the papacy. Remember we were talking about in our expo? This is time. This is prophecy and speed. Well, now we're going to talk about the Pope, but I'm just going to show you this real quick. Here is this Pope, next Pope, the Pope after, and then the fourth Pope. Bingo. See, Satan knows that he wants the right people in that position, okay? And with the Pope being in the office of the papacy, not this Pope, not the next Pope, beginning with the third Pope and concluding with the fourth. World religion. Let's talk about that for a second. And that same exponential graph is happening with one world religion. This Pope has now shifted into gear. It was a neutral. Now he's shifting it into first, okay? Getting everyone on board, kind of, the Muslims, the Catholics, and when you figure that in the world population, Roman Catholicism is 25%, 25 to 28%. That's pretty big time. You get to hook up the Muslim trailer behind that and a Christian trailer behind that and everyone else behind that. The next Pope is going to shift it into second gear and get it in motion. Okay? The third Pope is going to have it cruising. Okay? Almost to altitude. And the fourth is going to be where we need to be in end times prophecy. Okay? So, with bringing all the one world religion, okay, the office of the papacy, we need to look at the office and who's in the office. We don't need to look at the person who's in it. Look and see whoever is there, and it's in the temple, okay? It's not any specific rabbi or whatever this, because remember, we're going to be one world religion. It's not going to be who you think it's going to be, okay? It is going to be someone who speaks with that's a snake, and that's a forked tongue, is going to absolutely, people are going to go, oh, right on, man, we got the right man in the job, okay? It's not going to be such a wild, people aren't going to notice, man. This man is going to be the smooth talker, it's like, my wife says I'm the funniest man I know, okay? And I run with it, I really do. I think I am now. All right, I'm not. Although I did think that having this four-part, did I say part? This four-part series on exponential and how it affects end times, because their father is exponentially everything, owns Expo, that it was good, and the conclusion, and then there's the epilogue. What's the epilogue? Yeah, that wraps it up. It's not the conclusion, it's the epilogue. Remember we used to watch, when I was a kid, we'd like Mannix and all those, part 1, part 2, part 3, epilogue. Anyway, the Pope is going to play big time. The United States, however, unfortunately, isn't mentioned in end times. Do you know why? We're going to be a wasteland. We're not going to be able to take care of ourselves, let alone anybody else. Israel's going to be on its own, and for the most part, right now they're not, because there's countries that will come to their aid, like the United States. But there's going to be a time when we won't have the earthquakes and stuff we have will shatter and fissure and everything else, the runways, and just not going to be able to do it. Can't do it. Can't. Communications and logistics, okay? The two biggest things of any war, anytime you go to war, communication and logistics. That's the movement of what you need, what they need, getting it from point A to point B. Okay, so I was going to mention something else and I forgot what it was. I'm a senior, I can do that, right? 60 something, almost 62. But when you look at everything, the way everything's happening with the food supply, the water, all of that, that's not going to be able to sustain a population of 50 billion, and if I remember, I mentioned doubling the last time, and I didn't give you numbers. In 1975, I believe it was 4 billion. Okay, 1975 was 4.1. Now is 8. It's between somewhere between 7.8 and 7.95 billion. So it's basically double. Okay, and if you go in an exponential curve, it's going to double, right? No, it's going to go on an exponential curve. We were done with the doubling. Now we're on an exponential curve. Everything is going to be exponential from here on out. And, am I telling you exactly when and where? No. All I'm doing is with the knowledge we are given by our Father on how things are going to play out in the Bible, we can pretty much put it all together. Okay? We don't know exactly when and where, but we do know it's coming. And by the year, I really do. I truly believe that the 7 year tribulation period, the seals of judgment and the bowls of wrath will be concluded right at the 2,200 mark. So, if anyone has questions, let me know. And thank you for you three that were four, that three sisters and a brother who said, "Hey man, you forgot the most important part." No, I didn't. But that wasn't fair, right? Uh, anyway, if you have any questions or want me to do a video, please let me know. Okay, I'm not. The next video I already have wrapped up, and after that, I'm open. I really would like to do something that you guys want to hear. Okay, instead of just me picking, unless that's okay with you. Unless you say, "Hey man, we don't listen to you anyway." That's why I use Snapchat. My hair. I trim my this, and I normally have hair down here, and I use Snapchat, right? So it's like this is who I am. I change my voice and my picture. Maybe next time I'll shave my head, because I have long hair. Because when I go out into public, I don't want people going, "There he is, kill him." So you don't know what I look at. Anyway, thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it. And my prayer is, if you learn just one thing from each video, hey, it's not a 10 to 15 minute or 12 minutes, 45 seconds. You're going, "Oh man, I wasted 13 minutes of my life listening to this guy." But I really do. I want you to learn. I want you to read the Bible by yourselves and in small groups instead of the church, and instead of having someone read it to you. Okay, learn it on your own. It's a wonderful adventure. You learn so much more. And if you have a question, man, all you gotta do is ask, because I can answer anything from Genesis to Revelation or Revelation to Genesis. It really don't matter. That's what I do. Thank you very much for listening. Now this is the final, and we're done with exponentially, and expo, because my father, what my father, times, seasons, what happens during those times and seasons, and how they exponentially increase, because everything my father does is on exponential time. Okay? I love you all big time. My name is Michael, the senior pastor and teacher for the Body of Christ Ministry. Shalom, everybody.